This video is intended to give you some instructions on how our car line at PPA works and hopefully will keep you from being so nervous. Morning car line runs different than afternoon pickup. Following staff directions is a must. Okay, let's look at the morning car line. Looking at my crudely marked up aerial view, take a look at the yellow arrows, the cars entering and traversing the car line. When you enter the school on Belcher Road, you need to enter from the northernmost entrance. That's the entrance by U-Haul. Those are the yellow lines on this map. You'll come straight in, and at the curve, near the playground, a staff member will signal you to enter a lane in front of the school. Lane 1 is the curb lane closest to the school. Lane 2 is the middle lane, and Lane 3 is the lane closest to the parked cars. Although you might see a lane that looks shorter, please follow staff directions and get in the lane in which you're directed. The staff member knows which lane will move first, so even if it seems like you're going into a longer line, please trust us. Now, once the lanes are filled and pulled forward, all the traffic will stop. A staff member will indicate unloading by stating, "Please unload." It is imperative, a must, that unloading is only done from the flagpole forward. That's about where the purple is on the map. If the flagpole isn't behind you, your child cannot exit the vehicle. Over the years, we've found what is safe and what isn't safe. Unloading past that point is not safe. Once all the students have cleared the unloading area, the staff member will indicate by saying, "No more unloading, the crosswalks are closed." At that point, another staff member will begin to direct the cars in each lane when to go. Do not move your car until given the signal to do so, especially if you are the front car. If you are exiting onto Ulmerton Road, you will simply pull forward, up the hill, and go between McDonald's and CVS. That is an exit only in the mornings, and always during car line. If you are exiting onto Belcher, please put on your left turn signal to let the staff member know that you're going to be going out onto Belcher. You will drive around the parking lot and exit onto Belcher at the PPA school sign entrance. Don't forget to watch for pedestrians and make sure that you're following staff directions. A great way to avoid car line and spend a few quality minutes with your child is to park at New Testament Church, which is located just 3 doors north of the school on Belcher. On the map, I've indicated that in blue, although the church isn't shown on the map. But following those blue marks, you'll walk your child on the sidewalk, down Belcher, and into the school at the PPA school entrance sign. Please don't enter at the northern entrance, as that is just simply too dangerous. The officer will help you by stopping traffic on Belcher, but remember, traffic movement must come first. Okay, now you're on the sidewalk. You've walked past the northern entrance and you're following those blue marks on the map. You will enter on the sidewalk that's located just south of the PPA school sign. There will be crosswalks that will guide you the rest of the way. Please make sure you're following staff directions and looking for cars that may not have followed their direction. If you insist on parking in the parking lot, you should only park in the area indicated in pink. Those are the only acceptable areas to park, the ones in pink. It used to be staff parking, but we've changed it to run the line quicker this year with the fencing. If you park in the pink area, you would enter from Belcher and turn into the first row only. That means the row that's outside the fence. You may not turn into the school's second row inside the fence. That is only one way going the other way. That's the area marked in white. Looking at that parking area in pink again, you must exit onto Belcher Road using the exit by the PPA school sign. Finally, there is one other way to drop off, but it can be backed up very quickly and actually take a longer time. That's what we call lane 4. That entrance is located west of McDonald's next to the bus stop. You enter from Ulmerton Road behind McDonald's. Unloading takes place back there, but we have limited staff members there, and it is suggested that you use the other route. Once your child is unloaded back there, though, they must walk around the front of the school using the crosswalk, and you would exit either turning right up the hill between McDonald's and CVS, or go past that exit and then follow the yellow marks out to Belcher at the exit next to the PPA school sign. But again, please follow staff directions. That lane only moves when instructed to do so by the staff member. Here's some things to remember. You cannot enter the parking lot from Ulmerton Road between CVS and McDonald's, what we call the Hill, after 7:30 a.m. It will be coned off as that becomes an exit only. You cannot come into the parking lot at the front of CVS, as that too will be coned off. There is no entry and no exit at that point from 7:30 a.m. until after car line is over. That's marked in red. Also, remember to unload only from the flagpole forward. No one should be out of their car or even have their car doors open behind the flagpole. Another thing to remember is that if the car line gets backed up significantly, we will close the gate at the entrance and serpentine or snake all the cars around where those white arrows are. That allows more cars to get off of Belcher, but we don't do that unless it gets really backed up. It is the least desirable for us. So if that gate is closed, you need to snake all the way through the parking lot. But we'll have staff members. The two most important things to remember about car line: follow staff directions and pay attention. That means putting your cell phone away. When stopping, put your car in park so as not to have your foot slip off the brake. Yes, that's happened, and it's extremely dangerous. Finally, car line starts at 7:40 a.m., and you must keep lane 1, the curb lane, open for the go-through lane before care drop-offs. It's okay to come in early, but park in lanes 2 and 3. And my final note about morning drop-off is that car line for primary and all students, in fact, is officially over at 8:10 a.m. If you enter the parking lot after 8:10 a.m., you will need to park and walk your child in. They cannot get through the parking lot and into their classroom with bottoms in seat by 8:15 if you pull in at 8:10 or after. That's it for morning car line. Okay, our afternoon pickup runs different, but please remember, safety is the key. It really runs quite well if everyone follows instructions and does what they should be doing. Let's take a look at it. Again, my crude map, but hopefully it will help you understand. Afternoon car line consists of 3 different dismissal times. That means we have 3 different car line colors and tags. If you have only children in K-3, you should have a yellow tag. If you have siblings in the other school, you would have a red tag for grades 4 to 5 and a blue tag for grades 6 to 8. If you have multiple students, you should have a car tag color of the oldest child and colored dots with the appropriate color for the other students. For example, if you have a student in grade 5 and one in grade 1, you would have a red tag with a yellow dot. If you had a student in middle school and one in 4th or 5th, you'd have a blue tag with a red dot. The dots let staff members know some of your students are at different dismissal times. But what time should you get there? Well, for multiple pickup times, you would simply pick up at the later time. For example, a red line and a K3 student, yellow line, would be picked up at the red line 2:40 dismissal because the tag is red. You would follow the red line instructions. Otherwise, you'll be forced to go around the car circle again. So rule of thumb, pick up at the later time and get in the highest grade level student's car line, either the red or the blue, depending on the grade of the older one. Some things to remember in general. Follow staff directions. Don't park and back up unless you're in a designated area because you hold up the car line. Don't park at McDonald's or CVS. Park at New Testament Church if you want to walk up and pick up your child. And don't park anywhere that is not a dedicated parking spot. Your car could be towed, and trust me, you're going to hold up car line. Nobody wants to do that. If you arrive early, please leave lane 1, that's the curb lane, open for the go-through traffic. Now, let's get to how this car line runs. First, let's get you in the correct line. So, first let's talk about staging. If you're in the yellow line, you're going to enter from the northernmost entrance. That's the one next to U-Haul. You will go straight toward the school. At the curve by the playground, and unless you're early, you'll be instructed to enter lanes 1, 2, or 3. Again, lane 1 is the curb lane, lane 2 the middle lane, and lane 3 is the one closest to the parking spaces. Please follow instruction on which lane to be in and don't change lanes. Even though a lane may appear shorter, we know which lane will move first and we're looking out for it. A lane may seem shorter, but in reality may take you much longer to get out. If you're picking up for the red line, if you are entering early, please use the entrance on Belcher at the PPA school sign. You will need to snake around and stop before making the turn toward the playground. On the map, you can see where the red line stops before entering into the yellow line area. Do not get in the yellow line. Additionally, you may also pull into the school at the northern entrance next to U-Haul, just like the yellow line. But hold up, don't get in that yellow line. You need to turn left into the first aisle and then stop before crossing across the entrance. You need to, if the red line is full, you'll need to park over toward the right. In other words, the red line will be staging behind the cars parked and that first aisleway closest to the school. That is, the parking spots closest to the school, not the aisle closest to the school. Don't confuse the two, please. The red line will be on one side of that aisle and the blue line on the other. The best time for arrival for red line is 2:40 p.m. Now, what about the blue line? Okay, your arrival time for blue line would be 2:50 p.m. You will enter from the PPA school sign entrance, go to the left and snake around where you see the blue arrows on the map. If you happen to enter at the northern entrance by U-Haul, you must stage in the line closest to Belcher. See those blue lines on the map? So thinking about it, all three lines can come in at the northern entrance, but the red line and the blue line would turn left at the first aisleway, making sure they don't get in the yellow line. The red line lines up or stages behind the parked cars in aisle 1, closest to the school. The blue line would also turn left at the first aisle, and they would stage behind the parked cars closest to Belcher Road. Take a look at that map. Blue line, red line. Remember that 3 lines of traffic are moving at the intersection next to the PPA school sign entrance, so you must follow staff instructions. Don't go unless instructed to do so when car line is in progress. Okay, so let's get moving. Once you're in the lane, the correct lane, please put your car in park to avoid accidental foot slippage. Once you're around the school and staff members have instructed you to be in lane 1, 2, or 3, which we call the pickup lanes, a staff member will announce, "You are cleared to load, clear to load, clear to cross." Then, and only then, will students be allowed to enter their car or pedestrians allowed to cross in the crosswalks. Please don't motion for your children to get in before that time. You may see them standing there waiting, but please don't motion for them to get in before that time. Once all the students are loaded, the staff member will again announce. They will then say, "No more loading, no more crossing. The crosswalks are now closed." Then, and only then, should you put your car in gear and prepare to exit. You will then follow staff direction, and each lane will be called individually. You may exit between McDonald's and CVS, up the hill as we call it, or go around and exit by the PPA school sign onto Belcher. Please note that the entrance from Belcher at U-Haul is one way in. You cannot turn left onto Belcher until after car line is completely over and all gates are closed. Okay, so here's how it works. The yellow line will be in progress from 2:30 until 2:40. At 2:40, we will close the gate at the northern entrance, that one over by U-Haul. That's when the red line will begin. Red line cars will then be given access to the pickup lanes. If you are in a yellow line and you arrive after that gate is closed, you'll just need to get in the red line. That's okay. We just don't want it to be the other way around. I'll explain later. At 2:50, the middle gate, the one at the PPA school sign entrance, will close. Once that gate closes, the blue line begins, and the blue line cars will pull forward and be given entrance into the pickup lanes. If you are a yellow or a red line arriving after the blue line begins, you simply get into the blue line. Okay, to reiterate, from 2:30 to 2:40 is the yellow pickup line. At 2:40, the yellow line gate, the one by U-Haul, closes and the red line starts. At 2:50, the red line gate, the one by the PPA school sign, closes and the blue line starts. If you arrive at a time when your color has already got a closed gate, don't panic. Just follow the other line, the red or the blue. Your child will be waiting for you if they had an earlier dismissal. Just remember that if you are a red or blue line, you should never, ever follow the yellow line. Your child has not been dismissed yet, and you will be forced to go around the car line again, and nobody wants to do that. But if you're later, just get in the next color line. If your child does not come out when we call their name, we will wait a short time and call them again. Perhaps they've gone to the bathroom. If that happens, we will try our best to put you in an overflow area, and a teacher will accompany your little one to the car. But on occasion, you may be asked to go around the line again. But we don't want you to have to do that, but sometimes it is necessary. If, however, we instruct you to do so, please follow that directive, because that means we don't have anywhere for you to park and wait. If your child doesn't come out right away, don't panic. We haven't lost them. Like I said, they probably had to go to the bathroom, or perhaps they even fell asleep while waiting. We will escort the little ones to your car, but please be patient and know that we are loading 700 children during this time, and we do amazing at keeping them in the right area, knowing where they are at all times, but on occasion it may take a few minutes to get them to your car. Again, please be patient. But once car line is over, your child will be sent to aftercare, and there will be a $5 extended pickup fee charged. Please note that car line is scheduled to be over at 3 p.m. If you arrive after 3 o'clock, you run the risk that your child has already been sent to aftercare. I have to tell you, often parents are lulled into a sense of complacency when car line ends late for several days. Then they come cruising in, and guess what? It happened to end on time that day, and they're angry because they must pay the $5 fee. So please make sure that you're in our parking lot prior to the 3 o'clock time, or your child may be sent to aftercare and you will be required to pay a fee. Some other things to note as I wrap up. If you park and walk up, you must show a car tag at the door and again at the crosswalks. Those are notated by the tan lines on the map. You must use those crosswalks and cross only when instructed to do so. If you park at McDonald's or CVS, you are in violation. If you are parking there and not making a purchase, it's just not right and maybe even illegal. I think they call it cut-through. Even if you've done it in the past, both businesses' corporate offices have contacted PPA and asked us not to allow our parents to do that. Although we can't force you because it is off-school property, you are making things difficult for our neighbors, and thus, you're actually making it difficult for the school. Do the right thing. Be a role model. Walking down that hill is dangerous, and you must know that you cannot cross through the traffic when the traffic is moving, forcing them to stop. Please, please do the right thing. Also remember, no child leaves our campus without a car tag or someone going to the office and being cleared to pick them up. In that case, a special one-time pass is given. So don't panic if you forget your car tag. Just simply park, walk into the front office, show identification, and you'll get a one-time pass. Please do not ask our staff members to put their job in jeopardy by making an allowance for them. I tell people, even if I was there at the child's birth, I still need a car tag. It's for your child's safety. It's to make sure every child gets home to the right home. We don't want to lose anybody. If at any time you lose your patience and you yell at staff members, you make a scene, not follow directions, or degrade or harass people, you will no longer be allowed on campus. We follow this rule. We also will call Largo PD or our SRO, a Largo police officer. Just do the right thing. We know you have great intentions, just as we have great intentions. Sometimes things happen, and it just requires us to be patient. It makes for a better day for everyone. Thank you, and thank you for choosing PPA and becoming part of our PPA family.